them, and I think it's awful, but we can't either, like, we have too massive production of meat, so we can't really just like stop it, but we should.
Are you saying we can't stop it?
No, we can stop it if like everybody's regulate his meat consumption. We're eating too much, so they need to actually produce way too much. But I think there is also some things we can do. But
so let me ask you this: you saw the images, right? When you watched the footage, you said it's awful. So why would you say it's awful? Because of the treatment of the animals, or would you say that what we do to animals is evil?
Yeah, I think eating things for a normal consumption is normal, but this is way too massive, and.
But do you think that humans have the right to eat animals?
Yes.
Why do you think we have that right?
There is nothing that says that we do.
Why do you think we do have that right? Because you know you're causing harm to an animal when you turn them into a hamburger.
I believe it's the order of nature.
Yep.
The stronger.
But most animals are vegan, they eat plants. So when you say the order of nature, which side of nature?
The side where the strongest can take.
Well, the biggest and strongest animals are actually vegan, they eat plants, if you think about it.
There is lions and things like that that also eat meat.
Yeah, but they make up the minority of mammals. Yeah. So it's only a small percentage of mammals that actually do that. Most mammals eat plants, so I'm asking, why do you choose that side of nature to go by morally?
What do you mean?
Well, you're saying lions eat meat, so it's okay for humans to eat meat.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, why would you judge your behavior on a lion when it only makes up a small percentage of nature?
I just think it's really good and healthy for us to have meat to eat.
So you think it's healthy, that's your reason?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
so
for me, in a personal way, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know if
what do you mean you in a personal way?
Well,
you mean as human beings we're talking here? As a species?
Yeah. I mean,
eating animals is healthy, you're saying?
Yeah, maybe not the healthiest, but having a variety of alimentation is good.
Okay, so you know you can eat a plant-based diet and be healthy though, right? You know that?
Yeah.
Yep. So it's possible to be healthy and happy without harming animals. So then the question becomes, why wouldn't you do that?
There's hurting and actually do it in a good way and a human way.
You think there's a humane way to kill someone who wants to live?
Well, to actually kill.
A peaceful way to take someone's life from them?
No, but to actually kill someone and not, because I've seen some footage where the animals were not even stoned, so like they were still
They're not stunned to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's standard practice, my friend. That happens around the world with every slaughterhouse that you could ever visit. They all get stunned improperly. But let me just ask you this, even if they were stunned properly and they couldn't feel that their lives were taken away from them, does that make it okay?
Maybe not.
Just because they're asleep when you kill them, does that make the killing less evil? The reason why we're out here today, the reason why I do what I do, is I want to speak to non-vegans about being vegan and speaking up for the animals, because most of us will say that we're against animal cruelty. That's what I was talking about, why killing animals is okay if they don't feel it. I was just talking to you about that. The question becomes, is it evil to take an animal's life, or is it only evil when they feel it? When they're awake during it? Because we have to be clear about this. You can't have it both ways. It's either evil or it's not. Right or wrong is very black or white, right? So
no, there's gray.
Why is it gray?
There is gray everywhere.
In this case, why is it gray?
It can depend.
Depend on what?
I don't know. I need to think about it.
Okay, well, I've been doing this for 3 years, talking to people like yourselves out in the streets. You know what the 4 excuses are for eating animals? Convenience, habit, tradition, and taste. Do they justify what we're doing to the animals?
Those things, no.
Okay. You said health. You said that we need to eat animals for health.
Well, there is good things in animals. I think we can also be healthy, really healthy, without eating animals.
Yeah. So then the question would be, why wouldn't we do that? Because that way, no animals are harmed.
So you're speaking about vegan, and what about fruitarians?
What about them?
Well, they think that when you eat a carrot,
yeah,
you actually kill them.
But that's not scientifically proven, is it? That's just an ideology.
No. But
Yeah.
so then there is things adding up, and so
There are some studies that show that plants react to stimuli. So they have electric responses to stimulus, but that doesn't mean that they feel and experience pain and suffering, joy, and all those emotions. They have to have a brain and a central nervous system in order to experience all of that. And even if someone was to convince us that plants have feelings, because I know that they're intelligent, but they're not sentient, vegans consume the least amount of plants anyway, because we eat plants directly. Instead of eating animals who eat tons and tons of plants, which we put aside when we crop farm, by the way. Did you know that half of the crops in the world are put aside and fed to animals who we then chop into 1,000 pieces and eat? So these animals are eating far more of these plants. So my point is that if you think plants have feelings and you want to try to cause the least amount of suffering to plants, the best way to do that is to be vegan, because we eat the least amount of plants of any diet that you could possibly eat. A fruitarian diet would consume only the fruits, but you're still eating plants, aren't you? So it's not like a fruitarian diet is void of killing plants.
Fruits that came out of the tree,
Yeah.
not the one that you scratched from the tree.
Right, so you're not killing the plant, you're killing
Not
the
because-
fruit.
No, the fruit is already dead because it's on the ground.
All right, yeah. So that's not a practical thing to suggest for everyone to do, to only eat the fruit that drops from the tree. Could we sustain ourselves on a diet like that?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's a practical
I don't think
message. But what we can practically do every day is stop contributing to the exploitation of animals by being vegan. That's a practical message. Would you agree or disagree?
I agree in a way.
Well, do you agree that you could become vegan? That you could do
Oh,
that
if
within
I
your
had to,
lifestyles,
yes.
right? If you had to, that's interesting. That's interesting that you say that, if you had to. So it would have to be a law that would be changed in order for
Not
you.
necessarily law, but something in my mind that really makes me change, which
Yeah.
do not really yet.
Are you both against animal cruelty?
I mean, it depends. What's your definition?
Humans causing unnecessary harm to animals.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So if you acknowledge that animal cruelty is wrong, but then you acknowledge that you can be vegan, right? Do we acknowledge that? That you can be vegan, right? So it's not necessary
Yeah.
in order to continue to eat animals, right? Then your actions would suggest that you're for animal cruelty if you're not yet vegan. Because when you're not vegan, you're paying for cruelty. When you're paying for meat, you're paying for dairy, you're paying for cheese, you're paying for
Say the
eggs.
necessary, yeah, yes, but like if you take only the necessary part, and this is where I was going to say that there is gray. If it's like necessary to kill an animal because like we can't eat an animal that is that has a disease or that is dead naturally. So if it's killed just before, well, it's still an animal that was gonna die, and instead of dying and just not being eaten or anything, it's eaten. Like
Right.
I had a family in the U.S. that had dogs, chickens, and everything, and we ate a duck that was in a bad, like that was gonna die soon.
Right.
So we ate this one, but we never ate any other duck.
Okay. So you're saying that you killed an animal who was going to die anyway, so what's the issue, right?
Not what's the issue, but well, why not use it for our consumption if it's gonna die?
Are you saying it was suffering? Like, that would make sense, but
I don't know if it was suffering because she was following him and not me. Like, but yeah.
I would agree that it would only make sense if the animal was suffering, but also I would say that if the animal doesn't give us consent to kill them, then we don't have any right to do that.
yeah, how
consent.
do you give us consent?
Well, that's exactly right. Since they can't, then why would we take their lives from them?
But
we
what
have to
about other
assume-
animals that kill and eat other animals.
Yeah, so like a lion who kills a gazelle out of survival. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so as I was saying before, most mammals don't eat other animals, they eat plants. Some mammals, less than 25%, kill and eat other animals, but they don't have moral agency like me and you do, like human beings do. We don't have the same level of consciousness. We have what we call a higher level of intelligence, and we say we're more civilized beings. So why don't we act that way? A lion doesn't have...
destructive one.
We're the most destructive, but we don't like that we're the most destructive, do we? Do you?
I don't think so, no.
I think we detest that and we want to change that, don't we? So that's what I mean by agency. A lion doesn't have moral agency. When they're hungry for 4 days and they see a gazelle go by, they don't know of any other option that they possibly could have, and they don't have an inclination to make moral decisions based on that. But we have supermarkets on every corner. We live in a modern society where we can choose to not harm animals senselessly, but we choose to anyway because of the normalcy, right? Because the status quo says this is normal, this is okay, this is natural even. But when we question these things and we think for ourselves, is it really? Is it really all those things that we're told since we were a baby growing up in society, that our parents tell us, that school tells us, that everyone in society tells us? That's the thing here. If you're against animal cruelty, you have to align your actions with your values. And that way you're living on purpose. So currently your actions suggest otherwise, that you're pro-animal cruelty.
No, but you can't say we're pro if we eat meat.
You're pro-animal cruelty if you're not vegan. It's that simple.
No.
I think
I'm just the messenger of, you know, don't...
Yeah, but no.
How no? Why no?
If someone kills someone in a defensive way.
But that's not what's happening.
No.
Animals
but
aren't attacking us.
No, I'm not saying
Sure.
that they are.
In that case...
No, I'm not saying that they are.
Okay.
I'm saying that because he killed someone, does that make him a killer? It was with no matter the reason.
Depends.
He
Yeah,
killed
no, it
one
does matter.
person.
The reason does
Yeah,
matter.
He killed one person. Does that make him a killer?
It depends what the context was. Was it out of defense?
Yeah, so because his mind doesn't think the same way as the action was done,
Right.
he's not a pro-killer.
So you're saying a psychopath who can't reason?
No, not necessarily, but someone that does it on purpose,
Yeah.
he's pro. Like, he wants to. Like, he's for it, but I don't necessarily want, like, I'm not a pro against animal cruelty.
I understand how you might feel right now.
Yeah.
We all are raised in this society thinking that this is okay. But if you buy meat, you are pro-animal cruelty. Your actions are suggesting that. And I'm just bringing attention to that because that's the truth. If you're pro-animal protection and you want to look after animals with the power that we have instead of using our power in a bad way against them, then the action would be a vegan action. You'd be choosing to eat plant-based foods instead of animal-based foods. Can I give you guys a card, just real quick?
Sure.
Do you both speak English as your... Is that okay if I give you English cards?
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, obviously, this right here, the best speech you will ever hear on YouTube, it's got 4 million views. The reason why I'm standing out here in the rain talking to you right now is because I saw that speech 6 years ago. I never before that thought I was going to be vegan, let alone speaking up for the animals. So just have a listen to that speech, and I guarantee it'll make a difference in your life for the better. All right?
Okay.
Thanks for standing out here and talking to me. Much love.